Um, okay, good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's Antonino Adamo speaking from the CNR. Welcome all to this second informative webinar on the open call for associated regions connected to the remediation project, an Horizon Europe project. Its title is a Responsive Hub for Long-Term Governance to Distress the Mediterranean Sea for Chemical Pollution. I'm finding out that there are a lot of participants to this event, to this webinar. This is a great news for us. This number is well beyond our best expectations. So we are very happy to find out that there are a lot of people interested in our forthcoming open call for associated regions that will be officially launched on the 31st of March this year. Here you can see the webinar agenda. Many of you already know it because you receive it by email. And we will give you a very short introduction. And after these couple of minutes, I will give the floor to Dr. Luca Ricci from RHE-MEDiation Consulting, which is the coordinator of this project. He will provide an overview of the whole project within which this open call is pooling resources for funding replications of our technologies, of remediation project technologies. So I will give the floor now to Luca. Luca, you should be able to be heard by everyone, and you can. Okay, hi Luca, and you can advise me when you need to go on slide by slide. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Antonino. Can you please start putting the presentation in full screen mode, please?
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so good morning, everybody. I will give you a brief presentation about the remediation project, giving you the main information which are relevant for you in order to apply to the next upcoming open call for associated region. Next slide, please, Antonino. Next. Okay, so the remediation project is a 3-year European Union funded project aimed at reducing the chemical pollution in the Mediterranean. In particular, this project will test microalgae-based technology for the removal of heavy metal, pesticide, and PFAS in wastewater treatment plant or in water utilities or just in a river, for example. The main technology of the project also include a mobile and fixed sensor and monitoring system to monitor the water quality, and then the data that we are going to collect from the sea will be then communicated through the European Commission EMODINET platform for the digital twin of the ocean. So the project has started in June 2023 and it's active until May 2026. This is the project consortium, so it's composed by 11 partners in 5 different countries. This is an important information for you because, for example, the country which are already part of the remediation project cannot be funded in the open call for associated region. So mainly Portugal, Belgium, Italy, Greece, and Turkey. Then in the next slide, we see the main context and challenge of the project. So this innovation action places itself inside the context of the European mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030. And in particular, the main objective of the project related to the objective of the mission ocean is to prevent and eliminate the pollution from our ocean, sea and waters. In particular, the remediation project is included inside the Mediterranean Lighthouse and aim to demonstrate replicable solution to prevent and minimize the pollution in the Mediterranean Sea, including its major river catchment areas, such as, for example, activity related to the prevention of pollutant, such as chemical compound. Then in the next slide, we can see the main ambition of the remediation project. It's important, this information are important for you because basically the potential applicant will have to at least agree on the main objective of the remediation project, and also define some objects which are in line with the objective of the remediation project. So the first one is to deploy a chemical pollution remediation technology based on microalgae solution and assess its benefit. Then to set up a combined fixed and mobile cooperative monitoring system to provide water quality monitoring data. Then the project aimed to demonstrate the efficiency of this technology basket inside 3 demonstration sites, which in a while we will see them. Then we want to assess and validate the responsiveness of the local community, to manage this transformation, and also the reason why we are here to replicate the remediation approach and technology in over additional 5 associated region demonstration sites, which will be selected in order to maximize the validated technology basket exploitation. Finally, there are tasks of, let's say, quantify the achieved technology and governance efficiency, but also to test the remediation local community approach as the primary driven for the critical mass mobilization. Then in the next slide, Antonino, yeah, this is just, let's say, in a graphic way, the same things that I just said. So the main action will be to prevent the chemical pollution and chemical compound to reach the Mediterranean Sea, to minimize and control their release, and finally to eliminate their release and remediate the consequences due to the previous release of this compound in the sea. Then in the next slide, we can see the main project objectives. So in the remediation project, we have 6 technological objectives and 6 non-technological objectives. So the main technological one are related to the microalgae-based technology. So we have developed an adaptive microalgae system to reduce heavy metal, PFAS, pharmaceutical, and pesticide in polluted water. Then the second objective is about the chemical monitoring system, so to create and develop advanced microsensing system for real-time chemical pollution monitoring. Then we aim to integrate all these 3 technology inside existing wastewater treatment plant or water utilities, and finally to perform the data integration tasks, so to easily provide the data that we collect in the sea, but also in the wastewater treatment plant, to the MODNet platform of the European Commission. Then we aim to develop a model combining technology, business capacity, and social acceptability for chemical pollution management. And finally, to define protocol for identified unregulated contaminants in water treatments. Then in the next slide, we can see the non-technological objective. So for example, we aim to provide guidelines for directives, so to develop practice to support the Water and Marine Strategy Framework Directive. We are in the process of engaging several citizens, and for example, we are targeting young generation. Then the non-technological objectives are again related to the data sharing, to the monitoring and coordination, and also to the replication strategy. So your activity, let's say the activity of the selected project under this open call for associated region, is crucial to develop a plan to replicate the remediation result. And finally, of course, to disseminate the project and therefore to promote result through a comprehensive communication and dissemination effort. In the next slide, we can see the key impact of the project. So as key impact, we have six impacts. The main one is the innovative solution for pollution reduction. So we want to achieve a 50% reduction in chemical pesticide use, aligned also with the Zero Pollution Action Plan. We want to accelerate the uptake of this technology, and also to perform an effective pollution monitoring, so providing real-time monitoring data in line with the main European directive. To support the European legislation, so to provide feedback to the policymaker related to wastewater and water treatment plant, but also to contribute to the digital ocean and water knowledge systems. Then we have also the activity of empowering citizens, and again, it's related to the activity of citizen engagement. And in the next slide, we can see the most relevant information for you from my point of view, because basically this is is just a visual image to know the main technology which are included inside the remediation technology basket. So inside your proposal, you will have to assess the replicability of these three technology. So you will not have to implement directly in your site this technology, but you will have to assess their potential replication and exploitability in your replication site. So the main technology are the one on the left is the microalgae based wastewater treatment system, which have been already implemented in a couple of demonstration sites inside the remediation project. This system is composed by 30 photobioreactors connected in line and in series. And then there is a big container with all the controlling tank and electrical connection to make this system work. The system works in a continuous way, take the water from a wastewater treatment plant or from a river, and thanks to the microalgae, the presence of the chemical compound such as heavy metal, PFAS, pesticide, and pharmaceutical are drastically reduced. Therefore, the effluent water is a clean water. Then the other three technology, let's say two technology, are related to the monitoring platform. So the first one is composed by a fixed station and a mobile station, which are a kind of marine drone that are equipped with a particular sensor to detect the presence of chemical compound, and then these data are provided to the main plant. Then the two fixed station and mobile station are equipped with a smart water cable sensor, which is a very small chips able to detect some chemical compound in the seawater and also to quantify its presence. Again, this smart water cable sensor communicate with the fixed and mobile station, which then again communicate with the platform we create to transfer this data to the European Commission in the EMODINET platform. Then in the next slide, we can see the methodology. So Antonino, you can skip in the next one, please. Yes, this is more relevant for you because you will have to propose a replication site. And the replication site you propose need to have similar characteristic of the demonstration site included in the remediation project. So in the remediation project, we have 3 demonstration sites in Italy, in the Mar Piccolo, in the Taranto Bay, in the very south of Italy. Then we have the Triasso Plain and Elphisin Gulf in north to Athens in Greece. And then we have the Izmit Bay in the Marmara Sea in Turkey, close to Istanbul. Then in the next slide, we can see the main characteristic of the Greek demonstration site. So I will not go over in detail, but just to give you an overview, the main characteristic that your site need to have is a site known to be highly contaminated by chemical pollution, such as heavy metal, PFAS, pharmaceutical, and pesticide. So, for example, the Triasso Plain, it's a plain that covers the 50% almost of the population of West Arctica, and it's a region known to be heavily contaminated by both organic and inorganic contaminants. Inside this plain, there is the HEIDAP wastewater treatment plant, which is a very new and innovative wastewater treatment plant located in Elphisin, which receive pre-treated liquid waste from municipality and industry. So this is, let's say, the main characteristic of the Greek demo site. Then in the next slide, we can see the Turkish one, I guess. Yes. So the Turkish one, it's another wastewater treatment plant, which is located in the Dilovasi district in the Marmara region. And again, this plant, the wastewater treatment plant, treat both domestic and industrial wastewater. And this site, again, it's known to be highly contaminated by chemical pollution. In the next one, we can see instead the Italian demonstration site, which differ from the previous one, because here there is not a wastewater treatment plant, but we collect the water from a river. So we collect the water from the river and we prevent the chemical contaminants to reach the sea. So we take the water from the river, remediate it, and then again discharge this water to the river, then go to the seaside. This demonstration site, the Mar Piccolo, it's known again to be heavily contaminated with metals and in particular by PFAS. Then in the next slide, I can anticipate you yes, this one, I can anticipate you the main expected benefit of the stakeholder. So the microalgae photobioreactor based on a patented technology named Green Dune were designed for the use in modules to treat contaminate water right after or the primary treatment or the secondary treatment. This is a process that requires low energy consumption and has a large remediation capabilities. For example, something that is expected, but we are going to overcome this expectation, is that considering the expected microalgae-based remediation capacity of 10 cubic meters per day, the expected benefit are the treatment of almost 4,000 cubic meters of water. And here the removal efficiency should be at least around the 90%. So the 90% of the chemical pollution inside the wastewater are removed thanks to the microalgae-based treatment. Then in the next one, we can see that the remediation project is not only about technology, but is main aim to develop a responsive hub, as included in the title. So we have to deal a lot with the stakeholder strategy. We had to interact a lot with the stakeholder, and for doing so, we create a stakeholder networking strategy. Then in the next slide, you can see the main stakeholder identified. This is relevant for you again, because in your process, after the replication and exploitability assessment, you will have to try to upscale your approach from the local level to the national level. So for example, for us, the main stakeholder we identified were industry that may adopt this technology in the future, or entities which are directly impacted by the change of water quality in the demonstration site, some small, medium enterprise and professional which can be involved in the construction of the site, but also authorities in the municipality and business and industries. Then in the next slide, we can come to the hot topic of the open call. So this is just for anticipate you some information that then Antonino will provide you with much more detail. So the reason we are here is the fact that we, in a couple of weeks, so in March 31st, we will launch the open call for associated region, which will be open for 2 months. So from March 31st to May 31st. The call invites third parties, and in particular local and regional authorities from associated region, to propose replication site for assessing the replicability and exploitability of the remediation technology. We will fund 5 associated regions for a total budget of 500,000 euros, but each project will have a budget of 100,000 each. The eligible beneficiary, as we will see in a while, are local and regional organizations from the EU member states, excluding, again, the country of the remediation consortium, so Italy, Greece, Portugal, Belgium, and Turkey. Then in the next slide, Antonino, we can see some more information which are relevant, and it's useful to repeat them. So the fund is 100,000 euros per 5 associated regions. we are looking for local and regional authorities from associated region, which can be directly or indirectly linked to the Mediterranean Sea. The purpose of this funding is basically proposing a replication site and assessing the replicability and exploitability potential of the remediation technology. So unless you wish, you will not have to implement the technology in your replication in your site, but only to assess the replicability and the exploitability. The submission period is from March 31st to May 31st, and to apply from March 31st, you can go to the remediation website and carefully read the instruction, because we will upload there many files. You can then download the main document together with an application template. Then you need to go to the F6S platform, fill some required field, and then upload the proposal template that you have filled with your proposal. So don't lose this opportunity to get funded and work on the mission of preventing chemical pollution in our ocean and seas. Then in the last slide I have, the next one, we can see that from Monday, 31st March, in the remediation web page, so you can visit the remediation web page, just typing remediation on the website, you will find the guidelines for applicant, which is a masterpiece document for potential applicant, and contain all the relevant information for application, for evaluation, and for the contracting phase as well. Then you have the technical specification. The technical specification document, it's a very precise and detailed document which contain the technical specification of the remediation technology. So the one of which you will have to assess the replicability and the exploitability. Then you will find the proposal template, which is a Word document that need to be filled and uploaded in the FC6S platform link for application. This is the only admissible platform for applicants. Then there you will find some background information, what you will gain applying to this open call, which are the eligible countries with more detail, the timeline, how to apply, and the relevant content. So my last 3 slides were just to anticipate what Antonino will now take care in detail. So please, Antonino, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Luca, for this very thorough introduction on our open call for associated regions. You did right in just anticipating a lot of stuff, a lot of things that we will treat a little bit more in depth now. And I try to open the I'm trying to share the screen again. Okay, can you see the screen now? Can you see it properly? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, not in full screen, Antonino. So if you want to put it in full screen, probably it's better.
Okay. Okay, now we will go a little bit more in depth. As I already said, we will, how to say, shift a little bit this presentation between two main big topics. In the first side, we will, in the first part, we will take into account the eligibility rules and the objectives of the open call. While in the second part, we will analyze the management, the evaluation process, and then the management of the proposal, and then of the projects that will be hopefully funded by this open call. In the first, for the first part of this presentation, of our presentation, I'm giving the floor to Dr. Flavia Cavaliere, who is a consultant of the CNR for the remediation project WP5, and she will give you a thorough overview of this part.
Thank you, Antoine, and thank you, everybody. Let's delve into the presentation right now. But beforehand, let just me mention upfront that this section will be recorded. So in case you didn't have the necessary level of detail, or you miss any point that we mentioned, you will find it in the on the YouTube channel of the project that will be shared with you at the end of presentation. Otherwise, of course, we will show this presentation in two, but in the meanwhile, I fully encourage all of you that have could have any kind of question to write it, and we'll try to answer as in the maximum of our capabilities as soon as we receive it. So let's delve into the presentation right now. I will give just a couple of the details on the eligibility rules, some piece of information on checks, and some factoids that you should know before applying. So this call is it's open in the framework of remediation project funded on the Horizon Europe. Of course, my colleague Dr. RHE already mentioned to you, but it's wanted to recap it. In this framework, we are going to fund 5 third parties. Why we are talking about third parties? This is very technical word used compound noun used in the framework of Horizon projects, but starting from now on, we use the term associated region or authorities. So the role of these authorities that will be funded under this work package will be want to showcase the feasibility of the solution in the replication sites, and to prepare implementation and scale up testing tools. So let's move to the next slide. So who can apply? Here we put in clear the definition of associated region as given to the from the European Commission itself. So let's read it all together. Associated region is meant to be an areas with ecosystem that can benefit from the demonstration activities. And or let's develop a region with the need to build the capacity to implement the innovative solution to restore freshwater ecosystem. So the proposal should ensure that the associated region are located in the member state or associated country, other than those that are part of the project consortium. Or doesn't mean that, of course, the consortium is made up by several authorities based in Belgium, Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Turkey, and of course associated region and local authorities based in the borders, among the borders of these countries are not eligible. Other than that, as you may know, we have our sister project that is RHE-MED. Of course, I fully encourage you to visit their website as well and get informed about their initiatives as well. And the local authorities that will be funded under this, at the call of the sister project, will be funded under this call in this framework. But let's just in order to have some insight on the application process, the call will be launched next week on March 31st, and it will be up for a total of 2 months until May 31. This is a single stage submission, so you don't have to pass by several evaluation processes, and you should submit your application using the official platform. So you'll have the link of the official platform in the page in the website, and you can navigate across and around all the documents to scout all the information details that will be mentioned during this workshop, but of course you can access it online. So what about the timeline? The timeline will be around 4 phases. So the first one will be the evaluation selection, that will be around May, June. Of course, we are not talking about this current year. And the grant completed will be on the 31st of August, so 1 month and a half afterwards. And the project implementation should start anytime from the September 1st and on the 31st of May 2026. So you will have after the deadline from submission, if you wanted to consider like that, just 1 full year to implement the project. Which are the purposes of this call? Let's mention the budget. The budget will be 500,000 euro. Please feel free to convert it in your local currency if needed. And up to 5 replication projects will be funded with the aim of engaging local and or regional authorities to demonstrate the feasibility, replicability, and scalability of remediation solution, supporting the selected third parties in the development of replication strategy and creating an associated roadmap, and securing the interests of these authorities related to coastal seawater or inland and semi-confined areas affected by persistent chemical pollution, could define as hotspots as well, that are willing to implement cleaning and technologies, like the one proposed by the remediation project at Beyond, to setting the basis from a roadmap to future program scenarios. Also, the aim is to ensuring the adequate monitoring of grant speeding and provide support to grantees, and supporting third parties involved to upscale from local to national. So the scaling up of this solution will be crucial. What else? Let's mention as well that the other two parties will be involved in further demonstrating the innovative solution, and beneficiaries will be required to propose their own use cases that address the specific challenges and objectives, aligning with the goals of the project. And the selected parties will showcase the feasibility of the solution in their replication sites. And of course, as mentioned beforehand, to prepare the implementation and scale up the tested technologies in the replication sites that will be selected. What else? The beneficiaries will be enabled to follow the remediation project, its major achievement and demonstration activities, and they will be assisted by technical advisory during the whole implementation of their own roadmap. So, of course, this is not just, of course, other than the lump sum, there will be our roadmap that will be accompanying you throughout the implementation of your solution. What about the funding scheme? Support to these third parties will be provided in the form of grants. The exact amount to be granted will be, of course, established during the selection and negotiation phase, but in any case, it could exceed 100,000 euros. as we know, the maximum allocation is 5,000. So of course, this will be the maximum amount multiplied by 5. The cost allocation is intended to be calculated by the cost reporting based on the eligibility items. Just one technical note, at the selected two parties would be considered as indirect beneficiaries of the European Commission funding. So as such, they are responsible itself for the proper utilization of the funding. And of course, they must ensure that the recipients comply with the obligation outlined in the specific requirements. Of course, any technical information that you need, of course, you can write counterpoint, and that Horizon Europe guidelines, official guidelines, are also available on the tender website. So maybe I can move the floor to my colleague Antonino to the second part of this presentation. So in the meanwhile, I thank you for your attention, and please feel free to reach out for any question or doubt that you may have. Thank you, Antonino.
Thank you very much, Flavia. Let's go on with our presentation. As Flavia said, it is, I think, important to highlight it again, that there will be a registration of this webinar, and the webinar and the registration will be uploaded in the YouTube channel of the project. So you will have the possibility to listen to this presentation again. And also there will be a question time at the end, so feel to write questions in the chat section of this platform, and we will provide the public answers at the end of the webinar. As for the compliance to standards and recommendation, we need to say that once local authorities that will be funded are considered as EU member state institutions, they need to ensure that the following obligation of the grant agreement, namely conflict of interest, confidentiality, ethics, visibility, and so on, will be met. All these requirements will be need to be met. Please take into account also the EU sanctions map, and all relevant information that will be available through the links that will be provided within the guidelines for applicants and so on. So compliance with standards is very important, and the ethics, the proposal should adhere to the do not significant harm principle that underline all the proposals and activities funded by Europe, by Horizon Europe. And also data management determines that the project should comply with the findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, that is to say, the FAIR principles. As for the eligibility rules, so submissions are made only to this web platform that is called the F6S platform. There you will have the possibility, the opportunity to upload your proposal starting from midnight, from the 31st of March. At the following address you can find the applications. So applicants must be local and regional authorities from associated regions, and these and associated regions shall benefit from the financial support to third parties only once. Now we will explain you why. I know that some topics are already been covered by Flavia and Luca before me, but it is mainly it is important to highlight them again because eligibility rules are very, very important. And of course, proposals must showcase the use of remediation technology. Applicants will have to adhere to the following eligibility criteria. So a European dimension is very, very important. It will be checked in the second part of the evaluation process, as we will see in the following slides. A European dimension means that a proposal cannot be confined within the borders, within the frontiers of a given territory, but must have a wider dimension, so a European dimension, because actually we are talking about European funds, so it is quite simple. Proposals should be submitted only in English, and you will have some resources, and you can rely on them freely. There is to say the guidelines for applicant, Annex 1. Annex 2 is the proposal template, and then remediation technologies will be presented to potential applicants within the Annex 1.1, a technical specification document that is very detailed and will help you drafting your proposals. Your maximum budget is 100,000 euros, and only complete applications will be accepted only if they are submitted before the deadline, that is the 31st of May 2025. So, third parties are those authorities that have been granted. So, associated regions that will be granted, they will become third parties, and they need to provide the necessary official evidence showing that they are considered as local and regional authority. This is necessary to be eligible. It is important to highlight that private entities classified as third parties are not permitted to apply to the open call, because only local and regional authorities can award the contract, and only single local authorities are eligible to apply. It determines that consortia are not deemed eligible. Remediation open call is open to associated regions located in EU member states and associated countries not represented by the partners of the consortium. That is to say, there cannot be proposals from Belgium, Italy, Greece, and Turkey. There is a list of EU member states as the associated countries eligible for Horizon Europe. It should be carefully checked prior to submissions. This list is being updated periodically, so you need to connect to this link and check the list of the countries. Please be aware that the full list of this country contains also the so-called other third countries. These other third countries, mainly countries from Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, Far East Asia, are not considered eligible. Only associated regions and EU member states not represented by the project consortium are eligible. So, as I said before, eligible countries list changes continuously due to political reasons that are out of our control. Therefore, this list should be checked periodically. We have some relevant updates. As you know, we already organized a webinar last November 2024. This webinar is more or less the same, but there are some relevant updates that are very, very important. We heard from the CINEA agency that an associated regions should be considered not properly a country, but a local authority in a given country. This means that the same country can be financed more than once, provided that two different local authorities from that country will apply and propose at least two different replication sites. So it means that, for example, is from Tunisia or from Montenegro, there are two applications referring to two different sites, replication sites for each country. They can be considered both for financing, for funding. We can also talk about such a, how to say, a borderline case. We are talking about this borderline case because we have been asked about to handle these, borderline cases. For instance, there is an institute, a research institute, an academia funded by our sister project, that is RHE-MED, and we have been asked if it is eligible to apply for our open call. So the answer is that basically we will avoid funding an entity which is already funded by our sister project. But being that academia is not an applicant, academia can be only subcontracted by an applicant that must be local or regional authorities. We can take funding into account if the subcontracting is a relevant low amount compared to the total budget. This does not mean that it is automatically fundable. My answer is not a yes. Is not. It's more a maybe, a perhaps. So we can take this borderline case into account for funding. But please bear in mind that contracts with national and local authorities who then fully subcontract an academia already funded by the EU mission to perform the task will be avoided, because we are trying to replicate this opportunity, this funding in the highest possible number of EU member states or associated countries. So, which activities are eligible for funding? Mainly, the applicant must be aware that the project progress through must be aware of the project progress through reading the project published documentation made available. He must contribute to outlining the pros and cons associated with the use of the proposed remediation technologies. They must undertake a preliminary design assessment, the design assessment and development of work timetable and roadmap for future implementation, promote exploitation of the developed roadmap to be endorsed at the national level, and upscale the level of interest, contribute or participate in specific workshop. So, as Luca already said, and Flavia too, mainly we are funding replication studies. You don't even to hammer even a nail. You don't need to buy the system. It would be a huge conflict of interest from us. You can propose a replication site, characterize it, and demonstrate that it is available. It is available for replication, for replicating there the remediation project technologies. These activities can be funded. So proposals must be submitted between the deadline. We already said that the deadline is the 31st of May and the beginning is the 31st of March. English is the only official language. It is also important noting that to avoid conflicts of interest, the selected applicants will be asked to provide a signed stamped declaration of honor during the contracting phase. So you know already that the guidelines for applicants, the technical specification document, the proposal template will be available within the application package that you will find in the project website, and the declaration of honor as well. You have just to flag a symbol that obliges you to sign and stamp it once you are declared as eligible. After the application submission, editing is not possible. If an applicant discovers an error in the proposal and if the deadline has not passed, the applicant may request the open call remediation team to resubmit the proposal. In this case, you have to send an email to the official open call account. There is opencall@remediation.eu with the message title resubmission request. Avoid, please, requesting resubmissions less than 48 hours before the call deadline for technical reasons, of course. Then we can skip to the evaluation process. So is a three-step project. The first step is the eligibility check. At this stage, the CNR will check the eligibility criteria against the self-declarations included in the application form. So eligibility check criteria is the proposal received in due time? Is there an legal entity? What kind of third party you are? If is the proposal written in English, and so on. The eligible proposals identified and selected by CNR will move to the next stage. And non-eligible applicants will be informed by email. The next stage is a relevancy screening. The relevancy screening will be carried out by an evaluation committee. This is a body under the coordination of the CNR that will be composed by one representative of each project partner. The overall objectives of the proposals deemed eligible in the previous check will be reviewed to evaluate just two items, as I told you before: the scope of the proposal and the European dimension. Scope of the proposal needs to guarantee that the proposal is in line with the remediation projects. That is to say that we are talking about the same technologies as the remediation project. And the European dimension, you already know what it is. It means that the project should have go beyond the the local frontiers of its own territory. Proposals that address the above-mentioned criteria will move to the next stage. Applicants whose proposal do not comply with the above-mentioned criteria will be informed by email. The evaluation criteria is made up of three main, the evaluation itself is made up of three main criteria: the technical value, the impact of proposed activity, and the implementation of the project. The following score will be assigned to each criterion for the evaluated proposal. So 0 is the lowest, and it means that the proposals cannot be accepted. Poor, it means that is inadequately addressed, or there are serious weaknesses, and so on, up to the best score, that is 5. It means that the proposal is excellent, and there are only minor or even or no shortcoming. Each evaluator will score the three evaluation criteria from 0 to 5. There is an evaluation summary report for each eligible applicant, as it basically happens for any Horizon Europe related proposal. For each criteria, the minimum threshold is 3 out of 5. The overall threshold is 10, but if a proposal receives less than 3 in any of the criteria, it will be rejected. Technical value means that relevance and uniqueness are taken into account. The impact of the proposal technologies is made up of a social and environmental impact of the proposals. That is to say that we need to estimate the impact at both local and national level, and we have to check which authorities are involved, which businesses are impacted, and so on. The local network and the upscale potential is the second part of the number 2 criteria, that is to say impact of the proposal technologies, and the local network and upscale potential need to assess the degree of the replicability of the proposal and the upscalability of the proposal. The third criteria is the implementation of the proposed activity. We need to assess the quality of the implementation, the data flow and the follow-up, and the team and resource that you are pulling to implement your proposal if selected and if funded. So the team should be cross-functional with diverse skills and expertise, should consider also gender balance and so on. There is an intermediate ranking of proposals. At the end of the step 3, all proposals will be ranked based on their overall average score. In case of a tie, the following criteria will be used: the highest score in the technical value section and the gender balance among the persons. So please take the gender balance into account because it is very important. Then there is a ranking list that will be generated, and there is a list of selected proposals, but also a reserve list. The first list will comprise the highest ranked proposals selected for funding, while the latter will be used in case of the evaluation committee will object to a specific third party. And in this case, the choice may pass to the next ranked proposals. Applicants may be requested to provide additional information at any time based on the decision of the evaluation committee. Selected proposals will be notified and will be invited to prepare and sign a sub-grant agreement. The sub-grant agreement is the contract between the CNR, that is the RHE-MEDiation Consortium partner that is dealing with this financial support to third party, and the grantee. So the contract is the sub-grant agreement. And there is also the opportunity for appeal requests, but they must be received within 3 working days from the reception of the evaluation summary report. They must indicate and describe the subject of the complaint. They must be sent by the entity's legal representative, and the committee will review the complaint and recommend an appropriate course of actions. If clear evidence of a shortcoming is found, a part or all the proposal may be reevaluated, but you need to consider that the committee will not challenge the scientific or technical judgment of expert evaluators. The evaluation score resulting from any reevaluation can also be lower than the original score, and then anonymous or incomplete complaints will not be considered. Only one request for redress per proposal will be reviewed, and all requests for redress must be sent to the official account, email account of the open call that is opencall@remediation.eu. Then there is the contracting phase, there is to say the project negotiation and the sub-grant agreement. The CNR will initiate the SGA preparation. The contract aims to fulfill the legal requirements between the consortium represented by the CNR and every beneficiary. The contract will be ruled by a lump sum model agreement. I mean, financing mainly will be regulated by the lump sum model agreement. I will show you what does it means later. And the sub-grant agreement will include the individual work plan. This is a very important document outlining the key performance indicators and deliverables that will be considered when evaluating the grantee's performance and the milestones reviews. The program has a total duration of 9 months, and it is divided into 3 stages. There is a replication site definition, whose duration is a couple of months. We will evaluate the compatibility of the project activities with this chosen replication site, and you need to send a deliverable connected to this stage, that is a work plan for a replication site definition. And the second stage is the replication site implementation, and the duration is 4 months. It involves the actual implementation of the activities. The deliverable is a technical and progress report on replication site implementation. Then there is stage 3, the replication site upscale, evaluation and feedback. The aim is to evaluate the potential for the replication of the remediation solutions and to deliver an exploitation plan to upscale the level of interest from local to national. And the related the deliverable is the upscale exploitation plan, including stakeholder assessment and impact assessment. Here you can see a little bit more in detail the program specifications. So there is to say the 3 stages, their duration, the mandatory deliverables, and the fixed lump sum. So payments will be made in 3 installments. The 17% at the time of signing the sub-grant agreement, then at the delivery of the technical and progress D2 deliverable, if everything is okay. Now we will see much more in detail what does it mean. There is the second tranche of payment, the second installment, sorry, 58,000 euro. And the last one is 25,000 euros connected to the third stage of the program. You are expected to deliver outputs, that is to say deliverables, milestones defined within the individual work plan. These outputs will be evaluated at the end of each stage. Beneficiary will receive a review report that indicates whether these deliverables and KPIs have been accepted or not. Payments will be released no later than 30 calendar days after notification. The mentorship committee, that is similar to the evaluation committee, there is to say in terms of composition, it will be made up of representatives of the project consortium, will evaluate the performance of grantees based on the criteria of deliverables quality, technical performance indicators, and deadline compliance, each scoring with the following percentage. Based on the final score, grantees scoring above the threshold of 6 points will successfully receive their next payment, and grantees scoring below will be proposed by the mentorship committee as candidates for dismissal from the program. But anyway, if this proposal is confirmed by the evaluation committee, the grantees will be removed, but the evaluation committee may grant short extensions allowing grantees to update and resubmit the deliverables. You will be expected also to participate in remotely in events, a variety of events such as audio calls, video calls, webinars, online training sessions, virtual conference organized by the RHE-MEDiation Consortium. These events mainly aim at closely monitoring the project and its demonstration activities while building the capacity to implement innovative solutions. Applicants are also encouraged to allocate resources to showcase their involvement in relevant events such as those organized by the Mission Oceans team. There will be some additional resources and a tailored support provided by the consortium. So the mentorship committee and the open call manager. The mentorship committee will be asked to read the relevant project documentation, outlining the pros and cons of the program being implemented, undertaking a preliminary design assessment, monitor the project process, and so on, while the open call manager that will be appointed by the CNR is mainly an administrative point of contact. He will track project progress, collect deliverables, organize project reviews, report progress to the remediation coordination team, and so on. There are some visibility rules to be taken into account. Beneficiaries, grantees must promote the program activities, the remediation projects and its results, emphasize the financial support of the European Commission. In their outreach activities, there is to say publicity, widespreading and so on, conferences, seminars, they must display the EU emblem, the mission ocean logo, the remediation logo, and so on, including some further requirements, also stating that they reflect the author's views and not those of the European Commission of the Remediation Consortium. Here you can find the contacts, so you can find the F6S support team. You can contact it for technical reasons. More info and available documents will be available at the official project website. The application procedure will be available again on the F6S platform. And then for further requests, you can contact the help desk. There is to say the account you already know, my personal account, and Flavia's account as well. I think we are just over. So thank you again for the attention. Don't lose these opportunities, as Luca said before. And now you will have the opportunity to ask your questions. You can ask these questions in the chat of the GoToMeeting, and we will provide the public answers, so anyone can can listen to our answers.
Yeah, Antonino.
Now we will.
Yeah,
Okay.
we already have some question. I think I can start addressing the one we received.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So to the first one, I already replied in the chat. In any case, we were asked if a research institute, for example, a part of a university, can be eligible for the open call. As Antonino said during the meeting, basically an RTDO, so a research center, a university, cannot be the main applicant to the open call because we are looking for local and regional authorities. However, we have the possibility of subcontracting a particular activity to a university. So, for example, a university, a research center, can be a subcontractor of an application made by a local or regional authorities. So, university can apply, but not directly. They must apply it being subcontractor of a local or regional authorities. Then we were asked how much of the allocated fund can be subcontracted to third parties. So only minor subcontracting of non-K domain expertise is allowed if adequately justified, and the percentage is less than 30% of the activity and therefore of the budget can be subcontracted. Then we were asked if the local authorities, for example, in Spain, not related directly to the Mediterranean Sea, for example, the one related to the Atlantic and Cantabrian Sea, are not allowed to apply. The answer is no. These authorities can apply to the open call because their connection is considered indirect to the Mediterranean Sea. So every local or regional authorities in Spain can apply to the open call. Then we got a question, can a port authorities, which depends from national government, be eligible? The answer is yes, you can, but you need to prove that you are legally considered an authority in your country. So being a port authority, you are eligible for the open call, but as for everybody, you will need to prove your legal status as a local or regional authorities during the application. Then we have another question. It is only relevant for region directly connected to the Mediterranean. Can regions in Norway, for example, apply? The answer is yes, you can apply. So as I said, we consider local and regional authorities directly or indirectly connected to the Mediterranean. So, for example, someone from Norway can be an applicant. Can apply to the open call. We got a question about the payment. So it's advance payment envisioned in the funding? The answer is no. So the payment will be made, as Antonino just said, in 3 installments based on the concrete result, deliverable, and review of each stage. So as you have seen, we have 3 stages. So after the review of each of the 3 stages, you will get paid. Then we have a difficult question. If a partner of RHE-MED, which is our sister project, and as Antonino said, local or regional authorities can be funded only once by the same topic call. So if we have local authorities funded by the RHE-MED project, this local authority cannot be funded by our project, by the remediation open call. But here the question was, if a partner of RHE-MED will be there some problem if we are subcontractor of the municipality to carry out some of the work. So in theory, there will be no problem. And therefore, for example, we also invite a partner of the RHE-MED project to apply to this open call. And then during the evaluation phase, in the activity outlined by Antonino, we will check your eligibility criteria, and then you will receive an eligibility check or not. Then we receive another question related to Turkey. So it was a specific question which I don't repeat, mainly because the answer is that Turkey is not an eligible country because it's partner of the remediation project. So unfortunately, local and regional authorities from Turkey cannot be funded under the remediation project. Then I've seen some other question related to the Black Sea. Yes, Black Sea is eligible, so you are welcome to apply to the open call. Again, another question, what percentage of the funding can be allocated to subcontractors? So I just replied to this question. The percentage is 30%, less than 30%. The very important point is that you can't subcontract minor tasks. So if you are going to do some particular activity like the characterization of the demonstration site as a local authorities, and this activity will be fully subcontracted, this is not a good option. So you can only subcontract minor tasks. And for the moment, this is everything. We don't have any question, but I mean, you are free to make any question you want. For GDPR reason and data reason, we couldn't put your camera or Microsoft on. Sorry for that, but you can apply for question in the chat. We have 10 minutes left. Yeah, I can take this question. So we have another question. Can complaint be issued outside of project partner in case performance is not satisfactory? So probably here we need to clarify. You will not assess the remediation efficiency of the plant unless you want with your fund to implement our solution in your site. So the only activity you will need to do is to assess the replicability and the exploitability potential of our technology in your site. So this is to say, you will have to see if our technology can fit the characteristics of your site. So you will not have the possibility to assess the remediation efficiency of our plant. So there is no need to complain, neither inside or outside of the project. What is important to know for you is that we will fund this assessment of the replicability and exploitability potential of our technology. However, for example, if in your site you already know you would like to directly implement this technology, you can do it, but the open call will not fund the implementation of the technology in your site, but only the assessment of the replication and exploitation. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, yes, Luca. It's a question about local or regional authority. Someone asks, we may have different opinions on this. Actually, you is not about you. It's the documents that you provide that. That rule. You need to prove through documents that you are considered as a local or regional authority in order to be able to apply. So if the documentation that you will provide will be successfully, in our opinion, in the evaluation committee's opinion, determines that you are a local authority, you will be able to apply and you will be considered as eligible.
Yes, that's correct, Antonino. And the only things I want to add is the fact that you are considered an authority in your country. So if you are legally recognized as a local or regional authorities inside your country, the documentation that you will provide to prove these things will be fine for us. Okay, so for example, there are some cases in which a research center in a country is considered only a research center, and in other countries it's considered a local authorities. So in that case, for example, even the research center can apply directly because they are recognized as a local authority. So we will not question or doubt the fact that you are or not a local authorities, but you need to prove that you are legally in your country. That's it.
We have just 6-7 minutes left. I would like to highlight what already Luca said. It is a very, very important point because a lot of people in the past weeks wrote to me just asking for more information. I mean, potential applicants, and I felt that some people could, how to say, misinterpret the objective of these calls. You cannot use the grant to buy the system. It is very important because many potential applicants think that they will be asked to implement the system once they select a proper replication site. This is not our case. We cannot do that. You can do this with your own funds, but you can't use the grant for doing that. You must use the grant only to assess the replicability, the upscalability of these technologies.
Yes, exactly, Antonino. Thank you. And also, as Antonino presented today, there is a list of the activity that can be considered eligible for funding. And again, since from the time the open call will be open, you will have full access to all the documentation. And we kindly advise you and to read the guidelines document, which is the most complete documentation, so that will probably reply to all your questions. Because if you read, for example, read the list of eligible activity, eligible for funding, there is not the real implementation of the site. There are different kind of activity, for example, a preliminary design assessment, a replication and exploitability assessment. These kind of activity are eligible for funding, but you don't need to strictly implement the plant in your site, only if you want and with your fund. So it's out of the scope of the open call. The open call is for assessing the replicability and exploitability of our technology in your replication site. And another point I want to add is related to then we tackle also the last question, it's related to the research center. So we know that the research center are the driver of this open call. So for example, if you are a research center that want to apply to this open call, look for a local or regional authorities that can be the main applicant. And then you can apply as a subcontractor of these local authorities that you found. Okay, the last question, Antonino.
Can locally based city-state university be considered as a local regional authority? Well, again, we cannot know exactly what city-state university is at the moment, but again, you need to provide official documentation stating that you are considered as a local or regional authority in order to be eligible.
Yeah.
We have another question, Luca. Will chemical analysis of pollutant levels be included in any of the activities?
So again, you want to take this or I take this? I can take it.
Yeah.
So basically, we don't have specific information for this. I mean, you have to propose it during the proposal drafting. For example, you can chemically characterize your replication site. So which kind of chemical analysis of pollutant to address, you can select the contaminants and the pollutant event that you would like to address, because you know better than us the main characteristic and pollutants of your site. So for example, in the first stage of the project, if you want to include these chemical characterization tasks, you are free to propose which chemical compound to target and to select. In any case, consider that you should already have enough data providing a chemical characterization of your replication site. And based on this, you should then assess the replicability and exploitability potential of our technology in your site. Then, if you need to perform more analysis, you need to propose them in the proposal. And based on your knowledge and experience, we will evaluate this. Okay, I think this was the last question as we are running out of time. In any case, you have the full contact. I mean, the one that have been reached by Antonino, you can use their contact to reach us and to make more questions. And remember that the open call will be out in 11 days, and you have 2 months for application. And from my point of view, it's a good opportunity to assess the replicability of a technology that actually it's working in our project. So it can be really a breakthrough innovation for the future. So don't lose these opportunities and reach us for any question you may have.
Okay, thank you very much, Luca, for supporting us during this second informative webinar. Please use all the resources available, I mean, starting from now, and not only from the 31st of March in order to know more about this initiative. And thank you again for participating. There will be the opportunities, as we said before, to listen to the webinar again when it will be uploaded in the YouTube channel referred to the remediation project. And so again, thank you for your attention, and we look forward to receiving a very high number of proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonino. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.